Hello, everyone. It is Ebony Omolara from Ebony Omolara Enterprises, and today I am going to be sharing my online visibility framework with you called social storytelling. And it's all about meeting you exactly where you're at. And so, what social storytelling actually stands for is social media marketing, creative storytelling, and online selling. And like I said, it's about meeting you where you're at, which means we're going to take the art and craft and skill of content creation, but we're going to pair it up with your marketing, your production, and your sales goals, but also what you're able to do right now and your practices and your systems that are already in place or that you're looking to implement. So, what is social storytelling? The way that I can break it down to you is imagine you have a really awesome idea for helping other people, or you're a part of a group, or you volunteer for a cause that does amazing things for your community, and you just want everyone to know about it. Like when you bring it up in conversation, you're like, how do you not know? And of course, there's so much access on social media, but not everyone knows where to go for what they're looking for. And it's kind of only if you know, then you know. I just said no like 500 times, by the way. But it is about getting people to know who you are and what you do. So, what social storytelling actually does is it works with three elements, and these are the three P's. So, the first one is purpose of why you're doing what you're doing, and that always relates to your production processes and what you're creating in the first place. The second one is people, and that relates to your marketing and who are you doing it for, and why. Again, why those people specifically? It could be by a group, it could be by a demographic, it could be by a local area, and it's also about profit. And so of course this is where the numbers comes in, but it's also about the investment of those numbers. What are you investing in, and what does growing your profit allow you to reach? If you was to scale your company, how does that further your impact? And so that's where we come in, and we were made to help good-hearted businesses and groups like yourself to use the internet and authentic marketing tricks to help you share your story and connect with people who care and that you care about. And so it's like being a superhero with a super powered megaphone, but guaranteeing that what is being communicated through the megaphone is going to land, is going to have an impact, is going to convert. And it all depends on what you're set out to do. So, the elements of social storytelling include the three kind of strands of software. So we have applications, we have social media, and we have search engines. And obviously there's some crossovers. For example, you can use social media are apps, but then there's apps that aren't just for social media, if that makes sense. Um and so the things that we work on are the five things named here. So we focus on authentic storytelling, and it's about what parts of your story you're sharing. Sometimes when people used to ask me to tell my story, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, do you mean like from my childhood? Do you mean since I started my business? And it's kind of being able to understand the context, the story, not the story. Well, yeah, the story, but I don't want to be so repetitive. But the scenery that you're trying to create, and that's where the authentic storytelling comes in. And again, that's based on why you exist. And that could be a personal experience, that could be something that happened that inspired you to create it. It's all about getting that through. The second thing is about content creation and the different types of content that you can create. There's loads of people that I've worked with or that I speak to, and they're like, I don't want to be on camera, but I'm just going to have to get used to it. Or I really hate hearing my voice back, but I'm going to have to get used to it. Or I'm not really good at editing, so I'm going to have to get used to it. But we can look at content strategies that align with something that you are comfortable with. And that's not in a way to say that you have to stay in your comfort zone. But let's say you're not really comfortable with being on camera. So first we're going to start you off with graphics, then we're going to move into voiceovers, and then we're going to pair the confidence of saying what you need to say in that one go into doing it on camera when the camera's facing you and you can see yourself. So it's about that growth and progression and giving yourself, again, the ability to be yourself. You don't have to be one way, and that's the beautiful thing about social media. The next thing is about emotional connection. And so this is kind of paired with the authentic storytelling. But sometimes, let's be honest, the way that marketing has gone for so long, it's been manipulative at times. And so they will play on your emotions to make you feel either worse or better and therefore get your coin. But in this context, it's about the emotional connection that actually speaks to the person that you have the power to help or to impact. And that could be through your own personal experience. That could be through speaking up about something that a lot of people experience, but no one's talking about. It's that way of making people feel seen. Yeah. The next element is value driven messaging. So, does all of your content communicate what your message is? And it doesn't have to be, even if you have a very serious message and cause, especially when it comes to charities and community interest groups, it doesn't always have to be a serious piece of content. It could be comedy, it could be something completely different. It could be like political, it could be educational, it could be entertaining. But is it clear who you are and what you're all about? Can we feel your values or understand your values through what we're consuming? And the last one is targeted distribution. So we hear about this a lot in sales, of knowing who your target market is. And then I think as I've gone into sales myself, it was realizing, oh, there are different tiers of target audiences, and being able to know who you're speaking to in each moment and why and how, and being really specific in that way when you're creating. So those are the elements of social story selling and kind of what we work on implementing into your online visibility strategy. Who is social story selling for? So it's for, before I go into that, something I want to say of what we try to make sure social story selling isn't is attention seeking content. And that doesn't mean that you don't grab your audience's attention, because of course you're going to, but you're not going to create something because you know that a lot of people are going to watch it and there's no substance beneath it. The second one was about clickbait, which is almost the same. All three of these are the same, to be fair, but clickbait content where you just want people to get onto it so you can get your views and stuff and have the numbers, but there's no engagement, there's no ground beneath that, if you know what I mean. And the last one is deception, where you on purpose make it seem like it's one thing and it's something else. Those are things that we don't do at social story selling. And so I'm going to go through who social story selling is for. And if those three things, in terms of the attention seeking, the clickbait, and the deception, is the kind of content that you want to create, then please do not book a discovery call. Next is who we work with. So audiences. But we've kind of broken it down into three categories. But a lot of the times you can cross in between the three. And so that's what EOE actually does. We start off with personal brands, and that's influencers, anyone who has built a platform for themselves based on themselves. The second one is community focused initiatives. So that could be charities, it could be CICs, or you might not even be a registered organization. It could just be a group of individuals who meet up every Sunday and go for a walk, things like that. And then the third one is for commercial brands. And that is if you have products or services to sell, and really in the realm of entrepreneurship, because you don't have to be an entrepreneur to make money online. And you don't have to. Oh, no, that doesn't work the other way around. So we're just going to leave that way. Our kind of criteria for the people that we want to work with is working with businesses, services, and projects that aim to create meaningful connections with their customers. They want to differentiate themselves from their competition using their unique story. They're focused on building longer term customer relationships. So it's not just about how do we get the sale, it's about how do we let them know that this message, this movement, or this product or service is actually something that they're going to need, or something that they should implement that's good for them. And then also having a positive impact, whether it's through your product value, sustainability efforts, or community support. And I think that's really important because sometimes there can be products or services that are just fun and silly, but then the way in which everything is built around it in terms of making sure we're treating the environment good, or making sure that we are giving back to our local community or to our online community, is important. So, there's three things. Obviously, I spoke about the type of content that we're not going to be helping people to create, or that we're going to suggest for people to create. The next thing is kind of around success. And when it comes to online visibility, success can look very different for different people for different reasons. And there's like, you can go viral, there's again making sales, there's loads of different things that you can do. But the three things that we don't want, and so we're communicating it to you. So if you do want to work with us, you know that this is not what we're really about. It's fast success that doesn't have any longevity. It's fake success that looks amazing online and in person is crumbling. And it's futile success where you've achieved the stuff, but it hasn't really done anything. Not better for you, not better for your community, not better for the people who are engaging with you. And so it's pretty much just useless. There's nothing wrong with. Ah, actually, I'm saying there's nothing wrong. It's just not who I am. And I'm in this space now, again, with being authentic online, of making, I'm so used to making space for everyone else. So I was going to say, like, there's nothing wrong with fast, fake, and futile success. To me, there is. To me, that's not something I want. I'm not saying that people who do that, I have a problem with them because I don't have time for that. Look at me figuring this out as I'm doing it. But this is what I mean about it being authentic. I think every time I try and do one of these recorded um, presentations or anything, and I'm like trying to practice it or get it perfect, I get really overwhelmed and I'm just like, Ebony, relax. So we're just going to relax. But yeah, we don't want fast, fake, or futile. We want real. We want, I say slow, but I just mean like with a properly built foundation, which, yeah, the slow way, and intentional. We want to make sure that everything we put out there is for a reason. Whether that's to make someone laugh, to make someone smile, to make someone buy, to make someone think, to make someone ask. Yeah. So next is the benefits of social story selling and why you should work with us. The first one is about stronger audience engagement. And so, again, when you're emotionally connecting with people, it's where you're most likely to get people commenting and sharing and doing those things because they feel naturally inclined to do it. Now, I don't want to keep on going back to what we don't do, but a lot of people do this in the opposite way of like rage baiting, the clickbaiting that I was talking about. That can also build audience engagement, but whether or not that builds the brand loyalty, which is the second benefit, is a different story. People might talk about you, but did they mess with you like that? Not really. And I don't think, well, for social storytelling, the aim is not to be the topic of conversation. It's to be a long-standing brand, a trusted brand. And so, yeah, we said the second benefit is increased brand loyalty, where people understand the mission of what your brand stands for. And so that's what they engage in. So whether they buy from you, whether you sell something that like you can buy again and again, or whether it's something that you buy once and you don't really need another one, they still stay engaged with you. They still want to know what you're up to, what's going on, what events are on, because of the brand that you've built. The third benefit is higher conversion rates, again, because of that connection that you've made with them. And it's not they're not making that decision from a space of lack of, oh, I need to get this so that I can feel better about myself. They're buying it from a space of, this is actually something that meets my need. And it's just about being able to communicate that, which is, again, where we come in. The next one is enhanced brand awareness. So not only will people know about your brand, but they'll also understand what your brand actually stands for. And I think that's a really important difference, where a lot of people become known, they might blow up quickly, but you don't really understand why they were created. And so it's about making sure that that is kind of the focus when it comes to your branding, as opposed to what products and services you create. Because I always say things are going to change over time. You might take things out of your catalog, you might add things on, you might expand in certain ways, but your brand will always stay the same because it's built on core values. And so the last thing, again, with the core values, when you're being true to your values, that's authenticity. And so in your marketing, it creates trust with the people that you're speaking to. And that's what we want to help you to do. So how can you work with us? There's three main ways. The first one is through our products and services. So we have digital products on our Etsy store. For example, right now you can find a campaign planning tool, which will help you to assess your elements of production, marketing, and sales, and what content can be created and communicated to create a whole picture of what it is that you're creating. You can also outsource tasks. So we have production tasks, marketing tasks, and sales tasks. For example, event coordination, campaign creation, community engagement planning, and things like that. If there's anything that you would like to ask a question about, get in touch, and we'll see what we can do. The second way is through subscribing to our Substack platform. So we have quite a bit of content on there for the other work that we do with our own brands. But also on our subscription, what we'll have on there is a weekly marketing analysis. So what I'll be doing is looking at marketing that already exists. For example, adverts, it could be a blog post, and I'll be looking at the strategy that they use and the techniques, and then giving you tips based on that, on ways in which you can work that for your own company. And then we'll also have masterclasses and incubators. So I'll be focusing on different apps, social medias, and search engines to look at all the features and the details and updates and new things that are going on, and help you to align, again, your goals and your strategy with what's already on there, so that you can optimize your use of the platform. And in the incubator sessions, you'll actually be able to ask me questions and get feedback straight away on plans, or get new ideas for them and things of that nature. The final way is through our online visibility coaching. So we do consultations in business and marketing strategy, social media marketing strategy, and project management strategy. And then the final thing is coaching, which we have 4 tiers for. And in the coaching, you get a strategy planning call, weekly content creation prompts. And again, that's for a range of content. It could be graphics, it could be a blog post, it could be a PR campaign. And then the last thing is we'll do engagement reviews with you. So we'll go through how your platforms are growing, what contents are doing best, and help you to figure out what you can do next, or even expand on what you're doing now, which is the great thing about social media. When you post something, you don't know what someone's going to say or what someone's going to ask, and that can lead you to your next campaign. And it's that beauty. So yeah, those are the bronze, silver. So yeah, those are the ways in which you can work with us. You have a chance to win the first month free on Substack if you follow us by the 31st of May. So between now when this video is posted and the 31st of May, anyone who follows us on Substack will be entered into the draw. And like I said, you will get access, which means you'll be able to look at the first 4 marketing analysis that we've done, the first masterclass that we've done, and also get access to the resources so that I can get some feedback, but also get some access to the resources that are available with the masterclass. And so make sure you follow us on there. That's literally all that you have to do to enter. And it is free to follow us on Substack. And then the subscription is a separate charge and separate content. Here are some reviews based on some social story selling work I've done already. So one is by Debem, who runs Creating Beyond Imagination. And we did some work putting together a program, which I'm not going to say too much about, but putting together a program based on transformational coaching and getting people to see miracles where they wouldn't have previously seen them before. And I think I really like social story selling because I come into it as, how would I as an individual experience this? And so it was really cool. Obviously, you can kind of pause it and just read the review. And the other one was for Tanya Burke, who runs Cafe Neuro, and it is a space for neurodiverse or neurospicy individuals who are experiencing burnout. And so we went through a workshop program, well, a pilot program for workshops that she wanted to run, and just looking at her overall strategy and different ways in which she can work with what is available to her. And without sharing too much, it is that thing of like, sometimes it can be health, sometimes it's responsibilities to our family, sometimes it's our career, and maybe we have a job. And so what energy, time, and money do you have available? It's not about waiting until the perfect circumstances come. It's about using what you have now. And that's what social story selling is all about. And so I want to say thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it actually helped you to demystify the way that you look at social media, because for a lot of people, again, they think that they need all the time in the world. They think they need a new degree in content creation. They think that they need huge budgets. And it's like, no, it's going to take some time. It's going to take you... Essentially, social story selling is built on the belief that how you treat yourself is how you treat everyone else. And so when you're creating things for other people to consume or to buy or to partake in, how would you experience that? And what kind of things would you want to put in place like that? And that's really all that we really that's all that we really can do in the start, until we meet people who are different to us, who experience it and say, oh, like they can give us pointers and feedback, and that allows us to grow. So that is the framework. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out our Substack, to check out our digital products on Etsy, and to book that 20-minute discovery call. The 20-minute discovery call will basically give you the chance to give me an idea of what you're creating. I can ask you a couple of questions and we can see if it's a good fit. Bye. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos coming on our strategy. We'll do little teasers of what's going on Substack. But yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share with anyone who you think might be able to use this framework or our services or our products. And I'll see you soon.